All right, guys. So today we're going to be going over Yone versus Pantheon. In the MLA specifically, this has been a highly requested, matchup for me to kind of go over and talk about. Well, what do we do against Pantheon? I see a lot of times, when we're playing against these bruiser champions like Renekton, um, and Pantheon and stuff in Akali, like we're kind of struggling a little bit to figure out, what we should be doing. And I'll try to cover Renekton and Akali specifically as well when we get to it. Or if I get into a matchup against one of those. But yeah, today we'll be focusing on Pantheon. And before we dive into this VOD, let me just ramble on a second, right? The reason Pantheon is so annoying for Yone, right? Is typically, I guess, most Yone players, that when you're playing Yone, right, what happens is that the Pantheon just chunks you out all the time, right? And you're permanently stuck underneath your turret, or you die contesting the wave, and then he goes for a high quality roam, right? And he gets really fed, and then he snowballs out of control, right? So our goal as the Yone, right, if we're talking about reference points, is to minimize, right, and prevent him from roaming, right? At the end of the day, that's all we need to do. If we go even in this matchup, we won, right? We will outscale the Pantheon completely. If you and Pantheon are both even CS, even gold, even kills at 2 items, he can't do shit anymore. Like the game is basically won, right? And the second thing, we need to take note of is that Pantheon and team fights kind of counters Yone in the sense that, you'll notice in this VOD, actually, I make this mistake where, because Pantheon has a point and click stun that's extremely hard to react to, you've got to anticipate it with your E. What can happen is that you get stunned by him, and because you don't have much armor, he kind of bursts you to 40%, which is fine in a 1v1 because you kind of chase him down. But in a team fight, he bursts you, stuns you, and then somebody else on their team, kind of kills you. So you got to kind of look out for that, even if you do minimize, right? And so what you'll see in this VOD, right, is to be honest, I don't really do that much this game in terms of impacting the map per se, or being that hyper carry hero mode that you typically see young players try to be and are, right? But what you will see is that I play a very consistent game. I keep my CS high. And the key is I prevent Pantheon from roaming. That is the number one most important thing, right? You need to prevent Pantheon from getting high quality roams off, right? And so, if we pause and we kind of look at this game, this is going to be a damn hard Yone game, right? I mean, we're in a bad matchup. I mean, look at our bot. Our bot won't get any push. We've got Sona against Bard. I mean, when you think about hard Yone games, this is basically as hard as it gets. You don't really do well into Gragas. You don't do well in the Rek'Sai. You don't do well in the Pantheon. Bard is going to be in your lane all the time. So yeah, well, let's take a look here. And so, typical rune page setup, guys, right? Overgrowth, a second wind, D shield, um, lethal tempo. And just to start off, kind of what I'm trying to do, right? You notice how I'm actually even all right off the gate, I'm actually not queuing this wave, right? Because I don't want this wave to push at all, right? Typically, against almost every other matchup in the game, you can actually kind of fight level 1 and get prile. But the thing is, if I walk up and queue this wave, I'm setting myself up for failure because the wave is gonna end up being in a shit spot in the next few waves, right? And we're against a Gragas. So remember, our goal is to just minimize well. So all I'm going to do is try to keep the wave neutral a bit, try to avoid as many Qs as I possibly can, and get whatever CS I possibly can, right? As you notice, Pantheon is kind of clicking back here, so I can kind of walk up and last hit, right? He goes for a Q. It is what it is. He hits me with another Q. I trade back with a Q. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm not playing this perfectly at all. I've gotten hit by every Q so far, right? But the reality is that because I was kind of standing in that wave there, what happens is look at the wave now. It's pushing into me, which is in the early game, that's exactly what we want because now we can safely farm underneath the turret. Yep, so we fast forward here a bit. I shot with the wave. Pantheon gets a high quality roam or ward. I forgot to mention this is on my main, by the way. So yeah, this is a Pantheon one trick player I'm playing against. I'm not playing against some random like diamond or below player. This is like a GM level Pantheon player. Yep, and as you can see, I'm just relaxed, keep the wave neutral. And what you'll notice specifically is I'm never trying to trade onto the Pantheon. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but at every point, I'm not walking up and trading with him, right? I'm waiting for him to initiate the trades on me with the Q. And here, I kind of anticipate he's going to jump on me. And you notice here, I actually wait and walk up once this cannon is low. You see that? Because now he has to kind of make a decision. Does he want to go for me and use his spells on me or Q that, right? And that's why I preemptively cast my W, because if he goes on me, I block that angle. And if he goes here, I just get free damage anyway. Then I can kind of play back and relaxed. So that's kind of what we want to do. You see, I'm not going for a trade. All I did was W to block his damage, use my D shield in the second one to protect myself, and relax. And because Pantheon's cooldowns on everything besides his Q is so low, you notice because he uses spells on me, what can we do now, guys? We can go in and push the wave, and that's the key, right? Yone has a much more spammable wave clear ability with his Q, right? So when you see when you have a wave slow building like this, and you can kind of bait out his spells with your shield W, um, now what you can actually do is hard shove the wave. You notice here, I actually was able to hard shove the wave and get a cheater base, right? Beautiful. So I buy a coal. Very, very nice. And now if we actually pause it right now, at the earliest part of the lane, guys, right? He's got Ignite, Conqueror, D-Blade. Look at that. I didn't even burn my pot, and I'm only down 5 CS. And I got a cheater base, so I'm actually ahead of him right now, right? Because I've already spent my gold. And that's all wave management and understanding ability cooldowns and not being afraid to, kind of space them with your E's and your W's and then kind of put a lot more attention on the wave and hitting the wave. Right? As you can tell, every time, look, I'm using my W to block his damage. That's it. No trades. You notice I'm not hitting him back at all. The only thing I'm doing is W and walking back, and that's what you need to do, guys. You need to play really reserved, really defensive, right? Don't take too much damage, because if you take too much damage from extending a trade against Pantheon, what's going to happen? He's going to get prio all the time, and there's no way you can match. You notice the other small thing I do here is I actually kind of prevent this wave from fully crashing, if you notice, right? I kind of make him sweat for it. You see that? I kind of half hold this wave and force him to kind of walk back here and kind of beat an awkward spot because now he has to be kind of scared of Zach because he has no idea where Zach is. So he's got to play a little bit defensive. So, you kind of want to keep your waves on this side pre-6 for against Pantheon, right? Because it's kind of hard for him to get a roam before level 6. Yep, and as you can tell, just leaving the wave here, we got another slow push, right? Now you notice Pantheon actually went for a base here because he knows it's a slow build, right? And he needs to go by, right? So boom. This is good for us, right? Because now we've just eaten an entire wave again without him contesting us. So yeah, we're minimizing really, really well here. And I actually get a nice, good, decent quality ward here, the best I can. Back, right? Buy my items. And again, we're still just even with the Pantheon right now. So we're in an absolutely beautiful spot. And here I TP back. Bait out his Q here. And boom, that was the first real trade I did in the entire lane, right? If you notice what I did there is I went for a max range E without my Q3. And the reason why is because you can get a really fast trade like this. If you E forward, QW, immediately E back, by the time he reacts to all that, your E will be perfectly synced up with his W. So you can E out of his W there. So those are the types of trades you want to do if you're going to go for a trade. And again, I would only recommend this once you're at this point in the lane, once you got a little bit of items and levels in your queue, right? So QW, boom, instantly E back. That's the type of trade you want to do. I just slowly whittle him down, right? We're going for very, very short trades, outspacing his Q, not letting him get in range of us with his W, right? That's all I'm doing. If you notice, I never give him W range unless I have my W and I'm prepared to tank it, right? Yep. And so we see Pantheon go for the little play. And now look, to be honest, I misplayed this a little bit. We're not going to get into the details of the mechanics, right? I shouldn't have used E, to be honest. I should have anticipated that, Zach was going to kind of all in. Because had I not used my E here, I would have not been forced to go back. I could have got a double R there. But look, ends up being okay, right? We trade 1-for-1. I got a kill, right? And again, because Pantheon died, guess what? I get this entire lane for myself now for free. And if you notice, I'm only down 3 CS right now against the Pantheon as Yone, right? This is exactly what we want. Yep, so we hard shove the wave, Berserker's Longsword, we come back to lane, right? We don't lose anything for that wave, excuse me. And here's a specific technique we can do, right? So let's say we're playing against a roaming champion like Pantheon here, right? And he also can get prio over us. Or, sorry, he likes getting prio over us because he can roam, right? So not only can he roam, he can bully us in lane. What you want to do is do this one creep technique, where what you do is you hold the wave by one creep. So if you notice here, I thinned everything purposely besides this one creep. You see that? And the reason why you want to do this is because this creates two things, right? Number one, right? It creates safety for us because again we can create a slow build like this, right? Because this wave is going to be stuck here hitting this one range creep and the wave is going to be chilling right here. But the other advantage of this is that because they don't have such a massive wave barreling down on ours, at any point in time I can fast push this next wave and go help my team, right? So I'm keeping the wave close to my side, preparing a slow build, but I'm also at any point prepared to fast push if I need to, right? Because look at the wave. The wave is in a beautiful spot right now. And we're completely chilling here. Yep, and as you can tell, right, there's a top play. So what do? Fast push, and I can kind of hover, right? Nothing happens though, but it's fine, right? So I saw Bard on the bot side. Again, we're gonna play really defensive. Don't let Pantheon get a W onto us, right? So I walk in, I do that short trade I was talking about. E Q W, immediately back off. Don't take any damage. Completely fine. We waste Bard's time. Kind of stall the Bard while my team plays topside. Do as much as I can here, right? I'm minimizing. Now compensating for my team. It's another key, guys, right? The reality is that this is a 4v3. Pantheon is stronger than us. We can't do anything about the situation. Just farm, farm, farm. Relax. Wait until we get to our key spikes, right? Get the wave in. Keep our HP high, right? And then go to any plays that are close by. And if you notice, actually, what I'm doing here, guys, now at this point in the lane, it can start to turn in terms of the wave clear threshold, right? The reality is that Yone has so much wave clear. What we could do is we could keep Pantheon stuck in lane so he can't move first. You see this? Look what I've been doing. Look at this E. Max range E to keep myself safe here. You see that? Because my intention is not to go for him, right? All I'm doing is poking him a little bit, clearing the wave, right? Relaxing, making sure I keep prio and space in the lane so I can move to my team. That's all I'm doing. I'm not interacting with the Pantheon at all, right? Very, very simple. Yep, we keep going, right? I'm just wave clearing, keeping my distance, guys, as you can see. Here is my first mistake, right? I knew that Gragas and Bard were both coming here, right? I mean, we can see Bard bot side. My wave is frozen here, right? And Gragas is here. And so I'm waiting for my team, which is why I'm calling assistance. So again, look what I'm doing, playing really defensive, right? But now the problem is I was trying to bait this because I saw my team behind me. But as you can tell, right, this is what I mean by Yo can kind of struggle a little bit into the Pantheon because I got stunned, and even though he didn't do that much damage to me, he kept me in such a bad spot that I actually got stuck in a bad area, and my team and I got bursted before my team could help me, right? So this is just poor threat assessment on both the Gragas and the Pantheon because I knew this was happening, right? And I tried to bait it, but I just do a poor job of it. And then I die, but it is what it is. Pantheon doesn't get the kill. I go bot, hover bot, go mid. Again, as you can see, guys, keep it beautiful freeze on the Pantheon. And right now, right, I think this is a good time to kind of pause it and stop, right? Let's look at the scoreboard right now. We're against a Bard, Pantheon, Yasuo, Gragas bot side. And I've got Ezreal, Sona, Zac. And I am ahead in CS on the Pantheon with a Cole. So what's my Cole procs? If I can keep the CS differential, I'm going to be outscaling him, right? And so I kind of want to fast forward now, right? Because, right, I'm still even with him. I finally got Blade of the Rune King. I hover bot, right? We go for a bot play, right? A bunch of stuff happens. I die to Rek'Sai. It is what it is. Not important to this review. I fight bot, right? I got 2 quick cloaks now. There's a bot fight. And yeah, let's pause it here again now. So all bunch of stuff has happened. And look, Pantheon this entire game has gotten no angles to ult, right? In the entire lane when we reviewed it, I kept him pushed in or kept the wave frozen to a point where there was no way for him to go for a roam without punishing anyone, without me massively punishing him, right? So he was never able to go for a roam, right? I kept him pinned in lane. I kept my CS high, and now look at how relevant I am. It's the 20 minutes into the game. I'm ahead of him in items. I'm ahead of him in XP. I got TP versus Ignite. I beat him in the side. He's completely useless. So yeah, that's basically how you want to play against Pantheon, guys. Good quality wards, right? Good quality E and W usage, right? Max range, playing at max range. Don't do long trades with him. Last hit with Q, last hit with W, bait out his abilities, and keep the wave neutral or on your side during key moments, and then push where you need to push to get Pria, right? And that's it. So yeah, let me know if this format makes like it makes sense. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. And let me know if there's any other types of champions you wanted me to, kind of review and go over. And yeah, let me know if you have any more questions about this Pantheon matchup. But I hope this kind of clears some kind of fog about how to play against Pantheon.